Vinyl community, what's going on everybody? It's LJ and I'm back as promised with a vinyl update. Starting to make the pile on the floor smaller and needing shelf space that's bigger. So here's a handful of things that I picked up over the last couple of weeks or so that I wanted to share with everyone. First being Kaleidoscope from Siouxsie, that girl in the Banshees. Very cool, early 1981 I think, and this is on Gem Records, Gem Import. Kaleidoscope was just one of their, in my opinion, one of their best early, new wave, early, I don't want to call it synthpop, that's what I'm struggling with, tongue-tied with. So more of a new wave, college rock at the time type record. Siouxsie and the Banshees actually does one of my favorite covers of the Beatles' Dear Prudence. Not on this album, but this is fantastic. This is a little cold. It's by no means, so I'm struggling with the synth pop header because synth entails kind of happy, bouncy, peppy, poppy, and this isn't that at all. It's much darker than that, much like early Simple Minds or early Human League. Also, and laugh as you will, Michael Sembello's Bossa Nova Hotel. Michael Sembello, most famous for Maniac from Flashdance, which is a different version of that, is on this album, and it was picked up from this album for that movie, but I have a real soft spot for some of the 80s soundtrack geniuses. Giorgio Moroder, Michael Sembello, Harold Faltermeyer, they're all just fantastic, so I never hesitate when I see one of their albums. Vocal and instrumental, but just an absolute musical genius, and still around, active, touring today. He's a fantastic LP. Please check out some sound clips if you can find them. Joe Cocker, Jamaica, Say You Will. This is just Joe at his raw, raspy, bluesy, mid-70s best, mid-70s, 75 I think, I can't find the date, just killer. Tracks like Oh Mama and Where Am I Now, just absolute raspy Joe wailing away. Probably one of the worst album covers I've ever seen in my life. Alright, getting back to that post-synth pop thing. Peter Schilling, The Different Story, World of Lust and Crime. This is a compilation of two of Peter's earlier releases, and I think they were called the same thing. I think it was A Different Story and World of Lust and Crime. And Peter, again, is just that post-synth-pop sound, German. I believe Peter came from Germany. It was German synth-pop. So around the same time as things like Falco were around, Peter was around. And this collects all previously released material, the one LP. It's absolutely fantastic. Next was an upgrade copy of the Human League's Dare. Mine was just absolutely mangled by this point. This, of course, has the Swifter Wet Jet theme song, which is so damn sad when your favorite childhood songs get made into commercials. And it was Don't You Want Me. You know, on one hand, it's good to hear and see your songs being recognized, but at the same point, it's like, man, commercial? Really? Oh well. Human League's Dare. Don't miss this. This is absolutely amazing. A trifecta of the minds, Simple Minds. These I had. Unfortunately, the covers on a couple of these are a little beat, but they very happily replace my vinyls, which I've had for years, and these were just in amazing condition. So this is Once Upon a Time, and this has songs like Sanctify Yourself and Alive and Kicking. Alive and Kicking was a massive hit, and this is just a brilliant Simple Minds album. Second one I was very excited to find is Simple Minds Live in the City of Light. This is a live concert from Paris and just absolutely shines. It has a booklet inside. Fantastic. This has Don't You Forget About Me, would of course be the huge hit from the Breakfast Club that is here. Alive and Kicking, of course, Sanctify Yourself is also here, I believe. Just an amazing live album. It's a double LP set and just plays fantastic. It's just Scottish synth. I'm gonna go ahead and call them synth pop again, or in that bucket anyways. Album, absolutely amazing. If you have the opportunity, do not pass it by. And towards the tail end of the 80s, Simple Minds released Street Fighting Years. This is in that post-synth pop, post-new wave period, where bands like Tears for Fears found themselves, Simple Minds found themselves, and this has a pretty bad rap as being very politically charged, but those that know me and lyrics don't click. I know them and I'll sing them, but they just don't hit home. They don't resonate. I'm listening to the music, the breaks, the bridges, the choruses, and this album just absolutely shines. It sings. It's gorgeous. There's such a yearning in their voice and in the instrumentation. This may well be one of the best albums Simple Minds ever produced, ever put out. This is just brilliant. It's a little hesitant. This is the period that Tears for Fears did things like Sowing the Seeds of Love. Great song, the whole album, not so tight. But this was absolutely brilliant. Very happy I picked that up. This is, I think, the one Styx album that was missing, and I just grabbed a pile here from my collection, and it's Kilroy Was Here. Very dramatic, very Styx concept album. Mr. Roboto, of course, is from here. Kind of standard fare, but it's good to complete the Kiss collection. The one Beatles album that was lacking from my collection is Yellow Submarine, so that now completes things. Very happy to add this. I think this is a brilliant album. At least side 1, the orchestration and score on side 2 by George Martin's not so tight. But for one side of Beatles songs, you have Yellow Submarine, All Together Now, Hey Bulldog, All You Need Is Love. This was absolutely fantastic, and of course the artwork is brilliant. More 80s goodness. The soundtrack to Teachers. I am such a sucker for 80s soundtracks. You have things like The Motels, Bob Seger, Roman Holiday, Night Ranger, ZZ Top, Joe Cocker, Freddie Mercury. Just kind of an all-out who's who of 80s goodness. Not bad. Pretty good soundtrack. I've definitely heard worse. Just nice to have. And the last few I have for you here, I'm going to run through real quick. Every time I watch one of Glass Orchid Aftermath's videos, Mark and Sam, it kind of rekindles this interest in 60s pop and 60s psych pop. And I always find myself running out to grab something. And so that portion of my collection has started to build a little bit. And most recently, it started to build with the Buckinghams. And this is the Buckinghams' first 2 releases. Time and Charges from the Buckinghams. And this, the big hit here was Don't You Care? And Portraits. And the 2 big hits here were Hey Baby, They're Playing Our Song, and Susan. So while I talk about these, I'll pull them out kind of just to show the older pressings. I have to say that Portraits was probably the better of the 2 older Columbia presses. And even though they're, these are a little scratched up, but these presses are just like tanks. They just keep playing. The interesting story here was, if you're familiar with Susan, in the mid part of that song, it breaks into this weird psychedelic type thing that doesn't fit the song at all. It actually quite ruins it, in my opinion. And so I guess the story there, just doing a little research, is that's what was popular and what was happening at the time and what their producer wanted, and what the producer wants, the producer gets. So that should be reasonably accurate, I hope, and that was the deal. But both very good albums. Portraits, the better of the 2 in my opinion. Fantastic. And from the same seller, I got those on eBay, I did manage to get Made in Chicago. And this is a compilation from the mid-70s of both of those first albums, Time and Charges and Portraits, later Columbia Press. The difference between the 2, this, as far as the records go, it's about as close to near mint as you're going to get. So definitely the one to listen to. Just really, really great late 60s pop. Fantastic stuff from Chicago. Go ahead and check them out if you haven't. So that's my vinyl update. There's more to come. Hopefully some free time, some more nights this week. Keeping up with everyone else's video, and I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks guys for watching and hanging out with me for a little bit tonight. And thanks to all my new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're enjoying it. And I'm just always blown away that anybody's interested in anything I have to say. Love all you guys. Take care. Ciao.